Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. This is Kay back at it with a new video. There's this vlogger. The name of his site is called Dallas Global. And thank you for posting the video about this guy, Chance, I believe his name is Chance Mathews. And he's talking about how he's just going around infecting people with STDs. And, it's like he don't care, whether the woman is fat, ugly, skinny, whatever. He's just going around infecting them. And it's like he don't want to get no medical treatment for it. I think he gets off on just infecting as many, I guess these are black women, because he's black, as possible. Now, one hand is say, because why would you do that? And why aren't you arrested by now? Why? Because the police, we know the police watch, YouTube and TikTok and all these other sites, So my question is, why is it that law enforcement is not on this? Not saying that it's their fault, but why aren't they monitoring this and seeing this and say, hey, we got to get this monster off the streets, right? Because, you're infecting people. Now, you can be giving out AIDS, herpes, gonorrhea, all them things. And, and then you're ruining people's lives forever. And that's why I say the best sex is no sex. Because you don't know. You don't know. And this guy, he's, I'm a man. I don't look at other men. But, he's not a bad looking guy. See? So for him to go out there and infect people, and so then, you just passing it on. And, and I say this all the time, black people, we are our own worst enemy. We are. We are our own worst enemy. We will inflict harm on us like nobody's business. And I'm not saying all, right? Because I know I'm not like that, and you're probably not like that either. But there's a small percentage will just take us out for no reason. And this guy, I don't know him personally. I just happen to be looking at videos, and I ran across Dallas Global. That's the name of his site, I take it. And he's got this guy, Chance Mathews, on there talking about how he's infecting as many as people as possible with STDs. See? And, and here's the thing. Most people don't like to wear protection. They like it, as they call it, raw. But, you're taking just a big risk, because once you get this stuff, if it's AIDS or herpes, there's no cure for that. So now you're taking all kind of medications and all this stuff, and you living with these diseases just gonna be with you the rest of your life. And you gotta ask yourself, is it worth it? I remember years ago, I was lusting for this one woman. I mean, just lusting for her. I was young, right? And so finally, she decided to give me some. She said one thing that made me change my mind. She said, you know what, Kay? Everything that looks good to you ain't always good for you. And I went like this to the, ooh. And you know what? Lesson learned. Because I guess, and I'm not saying that she had anything, but she could have been giving me a warning saying, hey, all this time I've been trying not to infect you, but you keep pushing it. So what the hell? Women have feelings and emotions, and they like sex just like men. Say, what the hell? Now, it's up to him if he want to wear some protection. And at that time, I don't think I was wearing any protection. So she gave me my warning. Now, it was up to me from that point, and I read through the lines, and from that point on, I said, hey, no dice. I'm not going to be doing this anymore. For the women out here, if the guy don't want to wear protection, then you should close your legs. And then you should put that protection on him. If he want it raw and that's the only way he can do it, then you don't do it. You don't do it. See? But now it's to the point where it used to be where, okay, I'll just take the new person to the doctor and we get a checkup. And then they go to their doctor and you go to your doctor. But people doctor stuff, right? They can doctor what the test results or whatever. So the next thing was, okay, then we'll go to the same doctor together, right? Well, that's better. However, unless y'all gonna be going to the doctor every time you have sex, that's gonna be useless. Because unless you got a camera on somebody that you can follow them around 24/7, it only takes that one time. One time that your partner slips up, he or she slips up, and guess what? And then give you some, and now you infected. So, we're living in a dangerous world where people don't care if they harm others. They what's the old saying, when I go down, I'm going to take everybody with me. Well, in this guy's case, I guess that's the way he feels. But we have to do more. No sex is good sex. Because you just don't know what people are doing these days. Are they being honest? Are they being fair? Are they lying to you? Because people lie. People lie all the time. People lie like a rug. So, if you want to be disease-free, get away from that raw sex and all this other nasty stuff I be hearing people talk about on the internet, what they like to do. And that's for another video. But I'm saying, you just can't trust people because people will lie to you, look you straight in your eyes, knowing they got AIDS, knowing they got herpes, knowing they got gonorrhea, knowing they got all these crazy diseases and still sleep with you. Now you joined the party. Now it's your problem. And I can tell you, you don't want no stuff like that because once you get them diseases, you screwed. You got to take care of yourself again. If the person you're with don't want to wear protection, then you don't have sex with that person. Because even going to the doctor once or twice doesn't mean anything because people can do it after you come back from the doctor. So that's all I have for you. Again, this is Kate, back at it with a new video. Take care, guys.